Hello, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this is another session of Blades in the Dark. We're playing in a city that we created in our session 0. And last time we did kind of a extended downtime to give the players a chance to play through the first downtime actions, explore some scenes, get to know the other players, get to know NPCs, and kind of set things up. So right now where we are is there are a few job tendrils that have been put out there. Uh, it's also possible for the group to like come up with a job that they want to do on their own, try to recruit for that or hunt around. This is free play on this, so it is up to you. But so the plan is that we're going to get through. We're going to figure out a job, and we're going to get to a job today. That's the plan for play. So the three things that were mentioned in passing last time, and I'm actually going to grab them. Uh, the gondoliers asked about, and they're looking for someone to provide essentially escort slash protection. The sense that it's kind of like they have a particular thing that's happening and they need to be protected during it. The next one is that the pamphleteers, they're nice. They're generally on the side of the angels in city institutions, but they are looking for someone to do some sabotage, which is also in your group's wheelhouse. And lastly, and you're not sure who's asking for this, but the neighborhood known as the Beast, which is inside that giant gator monster where they're harvesting marrow, kind of a distant area, is under a lockdown by the Drylanders, or the Way Wardens, that they prefer to be called. And somebody needs, you're not sure whether they need to be inserted or extracted. That's kind of open to question. So, what we can do is I want to have like a scene of the three of you, and then maybe to kind of just generally talk and say, okay, if you know what you want to focus on or don't, or divvy up going and finding out about these jobs is a possibility here. So, what do you think? Uh, um, for I'm going to get everybody's name again. Uh, if you could change your name in the heads up, it helps me so much on the thing. Uh, Remy, uh, what do you think? We've talked about people's individual areas. We've seen that scene last time with you down in the sort of subsewers where the shadows live. Um, what is the meeting area for the gang look like? Like, what kind of space do you have? Is it a breakfast nook? Is it an elaborate table? Is it a circle of chairs? Is it a couple of sofas with a low table in between, like at a Yakuza? Or what is it?
Um, I think it's out in the open floor of the waterworks, um, where we can see who's around us. There's no nooks for people to listen in or whatever. The image I have in my head is there's a fallen pipe, or one end is fallen, so it's slanting down, and Remy is generally perched up on that.
Okay.
We brought in chairs, but Remy doesn't use chairs.
Okay. I like to imagine, just so we get a reference to this thing from last time, that there is kind of a squishy sound in the background from that fallout from the first mission that is certainly heard here. Um, so I imagine that there are, the handful of other gang people who you send out to hit the streets and things like that, and a couple of the shadows up there as you're talking about this. Kagato, do you have any sense of like, are you pretty neutral on what you do, or do you have a sense of what you like to lean towards or what you'd like to look into?
As far as missions go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I mean, for my part, I'm upset because these all sound so good. The latter two. I think are the ones that stand out the most to me. The pamphleteers one because it involves sabotage, and I think that's something that we just have a generally good reputation for. And this beast thing, there is a lot you could do with biological materials that we just kind of skim off the top during the mission, and I could use them for things. And it's an idea. So those are my two
Okay.
votes. Yeah.
Svetlana, what's when Kagito kind of puts these two out as interest, perhaps a little more unsaid about harvesting, but out there on the table.
I mean, those are the two I would have chosen. The gondoliers are, you have to be reactive, right? You have to wait for something to happen and then react. Whereas the pamphleteers, we're the catalyst, right? And I like that much more. Um, but the beast one has the mystery factor, which is always more interesting. I'm one of those people that would always take like what's inside this box if I were on Let's Make a Deal.
Okay.
And so that's attractive. Also, that one seems more dangerous, risky, time sensitive, and we could really get someone could really owe us. But what's the one thing that I have as a follow-up question, because
Yeah.
inserting somebody into a closed area versus extracting them are two very different things. And I just was wondering, because if we insert, we get to know who we're dealing with. We can go talk to them before we decide. Whereas extract, we have to kind of go in maybe knowing less about what the situation is. So I was just wondering if we knew that, but
Not
I'm leaning
yet.
towards the beast. Okay. Well, I'm
Does
leaning
sound
towards the
like
beast.
looking at the two last ones are probably
Mhm.
kind of the ones that are on the table. Remy, are you good with that?
Remy is all in on the beast job. Probably
Okay.
has a big speech about it. That do they not have any artists on the payroll? Do they not understand how this looks? The beast in chains, the picture draws itself.
Uh,
That's nice.
I like it. Let's have you uh let's uh, uh I don't think we'll do a roll for this. I think we'll cut to your group kind of putting the feelers out about this job, and you'll be asked to meet again the usual protocols for covering identity, last minute choice of place, making sure that it's staked out, that they don't have people there, waiting with knives or anything like that. And when you arrive, you will see that the person you dealt with for your last job, Ram Schned, is there. Um, and he will greet you warmly. Uh, it's good to see all of you again. I appreciate that you're interested in this task. It very much does seem like something that is within the skill set and experience and resources of your group. So let me tell you the basic outline. And then, if this is interesting to you, I will go further into it and try to provide you with details. Um, uh, so, there is I'll kind of turn to look at Kagito. There is a long history of local knowledge that we in the biohackers that we make use of, and that the powers that be have been trying to co-opt a lot of uh, through into some of the serum stuff and to other techniques. The a certain portion of what the convergence those shaman do is originally draws from what we do. Is factionalized. A splinter group that got, but that's neither here nor there. The problem is that a lot of our knowledge is concentrated in certain people who have been trained in particular arts. And one of our important key figures. Um, uh, he heard that his mother had been taken ill, and he returned to his old neighborhood there at the Beast to check on his mother and an immediate family there. And we don't believe by coincidence the lockdown occurred. We need him gotten out of there safely. We don't have a lot of knowledge about what is happening on the ground in the neighborhood, uh, but I can certainly give you names and addresses when you get inside. I know that you have good access to pathways and such, and I think this would certainly be a job that is uh, we desire you to undertake this task, I guess is what I wish to say. Does it sound like something you all would be interested in?
I would be conditional on adequate payment.
Absolutely. This is important to us, so we will be paying above the standard rate.
And this zone that has been put under lockdown, this is a little bit out of character.
Sure.
Is it a can you describe it a little
Sure.
more? Yeah, like
One
what
thing is
kind
to imagine that the city is weirdly fragmented. In some cases, like going from one area to another requires some like significant going across big bridges or other ways to get to them because of that kind of it's built on a bunch of fallen ruins and the city itself is kind of cracked and built. This particular one is kind of on a slightly lower level, and it literally is a giant, massive uh, gator-like monster that died at some point in the past. And it has been hollowed out over the years, and there is literally a neighborhood that is within there that now there's people who do like carving and you know relic making, but also there's a harvesting of the marrow that is left from this creature, from the bones that they can get to, because it is extremely magically potent. And so that's what that neighborhood is about. The thing is that because it is contained within one singular, like big monstrous thing, it is actually pretty easy to lock down getting in and out through the main gates of that. They've got the mouth locked up. Uh, does that seem like a reasonable?
yeah. So it's kind of one of those things, like some cities in the US, they're on the coasts and you can only get to them through taking like one of three bridges,
Yep.
basically. And you just if you lock those three down, that's it. That sort of
Yeah.
thing is okay. Makes sense.
Uh,
So, but it's
uh,
but it's a full neighborhood and a large
right.
environment to move about in.
Yeah, it is. There are some bridgeways over to it. There's a lot of wiring from the electric technicians, like cables that run across to it because they have interior lights. Uh, and of course, it is hooked up to the waterways for sanitation and water supply and things.
So points of entry include waterways, bridges, main gate.
Yes, wiring, or halo jumping from the air down onto the
Yeah,
top and then climbing through.
got it.
Uh, there
We do have a
are,
flying boat.
yes, you have a number of options, and Ram will say, "What do you think?"
I turn to Svetlana and Remy and I just sort of say, I'm in.
I do have a question.
Yes, Svetlana.
How important is discretion in extracting this person?
In what sense, Svetlana?
Well, let's say we get this person out, but there might be some explosions.
We are more concerned with getting this person out than we are with secrecy, quite honestly. Uh, we want him out and safe. So, if you take my meaning on that.
I do. I'm in. You had me at explosions.
Master Remy?
I think Remy has been kind of doodling with little flickers of illusions of the beast in chains, little cartoon style. Looks up from that. These people think they can control where we go. They think they can take what we know, what we have. Yeah, we will hit back. We will bring your person back.
Excellent, excellent. Uh, I have written down here for you some addresses. This is a family residence that he might be at, and then here is the name of another person who he might have contact with that you can check with there. I will leave it to you. The target's name is Brasau Defanged. Uh, and there's a quick sketch and description there. Nowhere near as good as your artistic renditions, Remy, but I think passable for these kinds of things. Good, good.
Bow.
Then I will expect to hear from you. I will send word on as to the when you have him retrieved, where you will send word to us. Uh, you don't have to drop him at a particular place. If whatever you decide for us to do the pickup from, I will leave that in your hands. Okay. And I think we cut from there back to the the base, and I imagine that there is kind of a map of the beast as best that you have. What the neighborhoods look like, what the main entryways are, that kind of thing. Are there any questions that we want to ask before we kind of go to decide like what you want to do for point of entry?
I have another question.
Yes,
Can we use our shadows to reconnoiter various possible entry points?
absolutely. Uh, if you want to make a roll for them, that's kind of a gather information here. They are superior, so they are tier two since you're tier one gang. So if you roll me 2d6, we'll see what they can find out.
Well, I rolled a six.
Roll a
Oh no, wait a
six.
minute. I rolled a six. No, I rolled a five and a one. I forgot. This isn't PBTA.
Oh,
Rolled a five and a one.
okay.
That's not a miss. That's a five. That's
That's
good.
great.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sorry.
so what is your first question?
I mean, my first thought was safety of access. Can we just, what's going to be safest for us to get in unobserved or gain us access to the interior of the beast? My idea would be that it would be best if we could at least get inside without alerting the guard so that we can try to move around. Once we try to extract him, I'm sure that there are people watching him and it will be game on, but it would be better to what do y'all think? Does that make sense?
I'll answer this question. With the five, I'm going to give you a couple of follow-ups. Uh, the shadows will return back, and they will say there are two ways in that fit with the tools and the resources that we have. We do have maps, underground maps of the area. and we can make our way in through the cisterns and the sewer supplies. May mean some waiting. It may mean some adjustment based on how they're handling the water supply at that particular moment, but that's a possibility. And then I think at this point, when they say this, you will see Luthra look over at Remy and say, the other possibility is to take the boat over. There are some patches in the skin of this thing up top that have been used for smuggling before. It would mean getting up there. We'd want to do it under cover of darkness, docking the boat, rappelling down in. Uh, that's the other possibility.
I have a follow-up question.
Yes.
I know we have a connection with the what are they? The waterworks people, the pipe works people. I forget
Uh-huh.
what the name of them is. Could we request that the water levels be manageable when we know we're going to be passing through those pipes?
You could certainly set that up.
Okay.
Um,
Just
or ask and we will have that as a possible flashback. That makes sense to
okay.
have that as a thing.
What do y'all think?
This is me just selfishly wanting to be dramatic. But I'm prone to or I'm partial to whichever option gives me the highest likelihood of being able to emerge from a body of water like a military frogman. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I see. I thought you were going to say the repelling because that seems like Mission Impossible stuff.
That's
But
good
That's what
too.
I
I
heard
mean, we
with the
might have to do
dramatic.
multiple missions, to get all these images
right?
into play, but something along one of those two lines is good.
So I guess there's a question. Are there internal like canals or waterways inside the neighborhood?
Yeah, we've discussed that water is a huge part of all the neighborhoods. There are canals, even though it's kind of isolated, they use water to move goods around. And there is a lot of bizarrely fresh water in this city, and so there are pumps that go there.
I have a proposal. Remember, we're just thinking right now about how to get in, but we're going to have to get out with the target, and that will require as much, I mean, discretion or at least, cover as possible. So we could rappel down to enter and then take the sewers to leave. Because if they're looking for us, we can't be up in the air with our target. But moving through sewers will make us much more, uh, we can choke point them if they come at us and things like that.
I think that you'll see that Luthra, one of your shadows, has started to kind of vibrate, and they say, and you would need to leave someone behind on the boat to fly it back, right?
Yes, so
I, I'm just spitballing here, but that's something that I could do.
be comfortable with that. What do you two think?
I think if we yeah, fly us in, we'll signal you. And here's a thought, you'll like this thought. Set off a decoy when we're ready to leave. You slip away one way, send something dramatic a different way, and we go underground to get ourselves out.
I am fine with that choice if you have something dramatic for me to fire off, and I think you can easily have something at hand to do that with.
I
Dead
think we can arrange that.
explosions. It'll be fireworks, it'll be fine. No one will get hurt unless we want them to.
So this moves us to the engagement roll. We're already there. Um, we start with one die. just for sheer luck that your group has here. Um, is operation particularly bold or daring? I think so. I think there's a small group of you going into an occupied territory, so I'll give you a die. I don't think it's particularly complicated. I don't think you have a lot of contingent factors, so we won't take a die on that. Does it expose a vulnerability to the target or hit them where they're weakest? Um, I think we're neutral on weakest, strongest on that point. You do have context in the sewer works, and you do have your cohort. So I'm going to give you another die for that. Um, so that's going to be 3 dice. Who wants to be the mule for this one?
I can do it.
Okay,
3 dice. Here we go. 5 is
4,
high.
5, 3. So what do we know about this flying boat? Like, is it a little sloop? Is it a sleek little 6-person vessel? Like, what do you think? Svetlana, you're kind of our tech person, so I'm going to start with you on this question of the boat here.
The one thing we haven't really identified or discussed is like, what's the means of flight? Is this magical? Is it mechanical? So I propose, I mean, leaning into my preferences,
Yeah, okay.
it's a dirigible with a chemical engine. So we feed materials into it and it starts a fire and propels us forward with the weightlessness of the dirigible and keeps the thing inflated, etc., full of helium, maybe, not hydrogen, please.
Okay. All right. So dirigible chemical thrusters
Yeah.
on it, some control there. We probably got thermals and things given the size of the city that the pilots are able to lean into. What's another thing, Remy, about this boat?
Um, we're able to camouflage it for different light conditions or sky conditions.
Okay.
So if we're
Got
going in under cover of dark, we can make it dark.
yeah. Got some netting and things you can throw over it. It's definitely able to appear to blend with the background. Kagato, what's one more thing about this boat?
Um, it's a dirigible, right? So it's
Yeah.
got kind of like the big blimp thing going on. Um, it's got the same way that people will name their boats IRL. We've got the name of it against the um I don't know what the bladder, whatever
Okay.
the big balloon is called. Now that requires us to come up with a name, but that's that's the detail.
Okay, I like it. I suspect it's probably you've got this secondhand, so you probably had to adjust whatever writing was on there beforehand to match the name that you want on it. It is at this point. Uh, yeah, I like that you've changed it to Mudlark. There, and you've put the canvas cover over, and I think we've seen the group. We've seen a montage of you traveling through the city, going up from the lower areas and the sort of change in air quality as you go higher, as you move out of the sort of miasma zone and so on. And there is other air traffic here that goes on, other ships and boats and things, and you're trying to run silent, so it takes a real steady hand uh, to keep. Probably have a firebox on the thruster to keep it from showing too much in the night sky, and going past the higher tower sections of the city, uh, some of the big openings down below that lead down into the caverns and the splits in the city. I think we'll see at some point, just because we haven't gotten it on screen, we'll probably see in the background of a shot the Alcazar as you travel over. We'll also see that giant waterfall that we talked about, the fact that there is that kind of broken sort of plumbing from the old city that cascades down in a Niagara-like waterfall in a portion of the city. And then we will see, with just a little hint of a couple of moonlight hitting the skin of this giant gator creature. Enormous, bigger certainly than a couple of neighborhoods, a giant head with, a croc-like maw that has been propped open, so with all kinds of rigging and scaffolding to keep it kind of held up. And you'll definitely see like the local guards people. They've definitely got a guard station set up there. And you make your way over to the skin of this place. You've identified one of the spots, and you'll the boat will kind of hit against that. You'll lock down. Even dried out and desiccated, uh, this skin of this thing is like iron. You can hook into it and it will hold. And then we will see the three of you descending down these ropes, long ropes down into the neighborhood below. Things here aren't particularly high built, so there are mostly two and maybe three-story buildings here. There's a lot of rigging and mining things around the outskirts where they're working on the ribs and stuff. A lot of work to, keep things upright as they're coming into them. These that the bones are very hard to cut into. It takes a long time to do that, and they also don't want them to come crashing down. Uh, but you will get into the streets of the city, and you will immediately realize that there are patrols out and about. Like it's like they're not just locking it down; they're clearly also going around. But the other thing you'll realize is you're used to the miasma in your area. It kind of comes up and gets blown away and then kind of comes up. There is a real pea super of miasma fog here on the ground, which is good for concealing yourselves, but you need to be extra cautious. It's kind of unusual how like heavy the miasma is. And I think we cut to the three of you making your way through, and you will have arrived at the house that you were given directions to. And you will see, there are lights on in it, and there are gas masked guards on station uh, at the front, and like a couple of guards on rooftops around here. Um, so, what do you want to do? I think there is that long pause of all of you kind of taking in, soaking in the moment there.
Could I do a flashback?
Absolutely. Tell me what you
So,
want is, and I'll tell you what the stress cost is.
okay, so I have just picked up a new special ability called Artificer. When you invent or craft a creation with SparkCraft features, I get +1 result level to my roll, making it like one tier higher success.
Okay.
And I begin with one special design already known. I would like to have made such a thing
Okay.
before arriving here, knowing that we would be going in. It might be useful to create a distraction of some sort or a weapon, or I just don't know yet. I wanted to check and ask
Yeah,
what that is or
let's
whether I could do that.
say
Mhm.
spend a stress.
Okay.
At, I think cheaper because it's a nice new ability that you bought, that you can have. I will remember you probably already remember this. You also have an asset to be defined in your hands. So Svetlana, what is this thing that you're going to use here?
Oh, that is a very good question. I think it would be I think it's, gosh, I thought about going big on this, but I want it to be small because and portable. So it's going to be it looks kind of like a little wind up toy robot that like walks, like this, but
Okay.
it is, a little larger, so it's like knee height maybe. So I pull it out of my pack and I unfold it in and I give it a wind and I push the button in it and activate, the chemical power here. It's all chemical power for her. So she's like the chemicals mix and it starts charging up, and I can give it simple commands. And I can send it to and it can shoot sparks, just a distraction. So it's going to
Okay.
walk out. It could, once I confer with my associates, it can walk out, shoot sparks at the guards, and totter off into the fog, which I'm hoping will draw one or more away and reduce the difficulty here. Also, I have a question. Is the fog so thick that the guys on the rooftop can't see the street floor?
They can see the street, but they're like the actual visibility, like in terms of making out detail,
Hmm.
it's harder for them.
Okay. So that's an option. We could draw one away with sparks and noise that might draw one of the rooftoppers to follow and see what's going on, giving us a chance to dash in. What do y'all think? I've got that if we need it.
I'm all for it.
Yep, that
Okay.
works.
So this is risky standard effect, which are the default, I think, at this point, because we
Mhm.
kind of come in a risky situation. I think, uh, let's see here.
Tinker roll or
Disable a trap. Use the ubiquitous class. Yeah, so it does it. Tinker does involve using the actual clockworks and things like that.
Mhm.
So right now you are standing at 2 dice.
Okay. I think I will, unless there's something I could do to add to it, I guess
Well,
I will.
certainly you could. You could, for example, uh, uh, spend a couple stress to give yourself an extra die. One of your compatriots could uh, you'd spend a die to assist you. Could You could ask for a devil's bargain, which reminds me,
Mm.
before we go too much further, uh, you need to choose your load. I always forget this. This is something, and I hate to flash back to this, but you have a choice of either being inconspicuous or conspicuous. Conspicuous gives you 6 uh, dots worth of stuff, um, and you can carry heavy things. And of course, you've also got an additional 2 load for, I believe it was weapons, if I recall correct.
Armor.
Armor. Okay, get an extra 2 load for that. So conspicuous or inconspicuous?
I'm going conspicuous.
Okay,
I could regale us all with what a horror show I look like right now, but we'll
okay.
just for now say mechanically it's conspicuous.
Remy?
I'll be discreet,
Okay.
inconspicuous.
And Svetlana?
Yeah, I'll be inconspicuous as well, actually.
Okay. Uh,
So just to be clear, inconspicuous means what can my load be?
so when you are at inconspicuous, you will be at 4 load.
Okay.
You can't take anything heavy except for armor because you've got the bonus for that. And you've actually got 2 extra points that can go towards armor.
Okay. Well, then I will take that.
So you
Definitely
can still
tech.
have armor even if discreet then, because of the rigging that we have.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool. So I will take the armor, gadgets, tinkering tools, suitor. What is the subterfuge supplies might be useful? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But you don't choose those now. You choose
oh,
them
that's right. I
as you
choose
do
them as we
things.
play. I
Yeah.
just know that I'm committed. Thank you. All right, I'm good.
So you get 2 dice. Could spend stress. Could take a devil's bargain.
Stress. How
Okay.
many do I spend to add
You
a
spend
die?
2 and you get another die.
I mean, yeah, I don't mess around.
Why not? You're losing money not spending it.
I know this is a stolen car I'm driving. Here we go. A 5 again.
A 5.
And I needed that third die because otherwise it would have been a 3.
So I think that you will draw off one of the guys that's on the rooftops, and one that's on the ground. It looks like because they can't communicate for a second, it looked like the other rooftop person was also going to follow, but they didn't. So that's the consequence of the mixed result. Now you can resist that if you wish, or
And
you
that would, yeah, sure. I mean,
so
I every time you
resisting it.
ask me something, I'll probably say yes.
Oh yeah, you resist by since this was done with your tinker. I think insight is the proper thing to roll that with.
Okay, so I roll 3 dice,
3 dice,
a six, a
six.
two, a
So you
four.
take no stress. Look how well you all are doing right out of the gate.
Oh, wait a
This,
minute. You know what I forgot? On my previous roll to Tinker,
yeah.
my ability is supposed to give me +1 tier. That's what my Artificer ability gives me.
Oh, okay.
So that should have been a six, just putting it out there.
Uh,
We don't need to
well,
go back and change anything, but
yeah. And it would have
apologies.
been, yeah, no, no. Okay. I will keep that in mind for a later action. We'll keep that in our
Okay.
pocket.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, the two people on the roof, because they can't communicate and have a hard time seeing each other, they both are moving to kind of follow to see what's going on with this. And one of the two on the door goes goes trudging into the mist and fog, gas mask on, after it, and so there's just one guy on the door. Kagito?
Well, one guy's easy. I can. What do you guys think? I was thinking of pulling out my blowgun and darts and hitting him with maybe a dose of standstill poison, which basically it's paralysis. This is just,
Uh,
biopunk Metal Gear Solid for me right now.
oh
This
yeah,
is good.
absolutely. Yeah. So that's Hunt, right?
Yeah, because that's what you use for ranged weaponry, right?
Yep. Uh, for attacking, I think. Yeah. So and you mark your blowgun, darts, and syringes. Um, let's that's you're rolling with 2 dice as we stand right now. Unless you like to mark stress or take a devil's bargain.
Two is okay. It does. It's a little higher risk. I'm a little high on stress. Not that that's a
I
huge
can
deal to
help
me.
also. Remy can be like watching the wind and cueing you when to shoot, something like that.
What do you say to that, Lowell?
That seems fine to me. Remy marks his stress, and you roll with 3 dice.
3 dice.
Oh,
Okay, here we go. Double sixes.
critical
Nice.
success.
Thank you, Remy.
Good
I
deal.
think that you fire that dart. I think it hits into that little gap between the mask and the uniform there, and I think you just see the figure stiffen and remains bolt upright. He is paralyzed in place, completely there. It looks to anyone who's passing by eyes like there is a guard standing there, very stock still, but they are still present. Um, and you can make your way across the street if you want. Um, go over to the door of this place. You'll open it up, and there is a kind of a entryway that is, you go in, it's a very small little thing, and close the outer door and then open the inner door thing. Uh, that takes a little bit there, but you will open it up into this small house. And when you step in, you will see this older woman, her like apron, covered with some grime and flour and such. And you can see that she's got a cleaver in her hand, and she looks up at the three of you kind of coming in. I think Svetlana, Remy, her eyes kind of narrow. I think when she sees Kagito, I think that her eyes probably get real wide and her grip on that cleaver gets tighter. And she will say, "And who are you, Moon Boys?"
We're here to help get, is it Brusau to safety? The biohacker sent us. Right? That's the right proper
That's in
noun,
fact
isn't it?
the true
Okay.
statement. You see her kind of look at you, and she will say, "And how am I supposed to know that you are who you say you are?"
I
Do we
glance at
deploy our
Cognito.
asset here?
Remy?
We have our asset on tap. Can we say it's some sort of a token that we can use for credentials here?
Absolutely. So what is it do you think that you brought? What kind of thing you've gotten? Is it a letter? Is it a marker? Is it something else?
I think it's a little like it looks like just a little nut or something, like you would pick up off the street. And when you hold it in your hand, it shifts color. It maybe luminesces a little bit. Something that the biohackers have created to identify someone that they've sent.
And you see her look down at that, pauses. She clearly recognizes it, and she says, "What about the guards outside?"
They're temporarily taken care of. But we probably shouldn't tarry. And I have a question. And if this is another flashback, I'll burn more stress
Sure,
because I'm just gonna go be full of vice afterwards.
absolutely.
Um,
Don't
I
forget, this is a little bit different from regular blades. You don't get taken out when you fill up your stress.
okay, good to know. Good to know. Because I'm gonna be pressing my luck today. And flashback would be we had this plan of escaping through the sewers, but I hope we would have figured out where the closest sewer access was to this place.
Oh yeah, I think that is a I think that is not even a flashback thing. I think that's reasonable to have established there.
Okay.
If there's maybe something maybe more complicated with that, but I think that that seems reasonable. She will say, "Hold on," and you see her go over into the other room, and you will see her move a little table, and then pull a little carpet back, and she will knock some time on the floor there, and then with it's pretty well done. It's pretty well concealed, but you will see this trap door open up, and you will see this big, burly guy kind of pull himself up out. It's clear that that's a tight space for him, but he will come out and he will look at you. He will look at the seed and he will say, "I can't go yet. They have my daughter. Let's take our first break, take 10, and we'll come back." And I think we cut to a scene kind of, in a tight kitchen with, the three of you, the mother in the background and Brusau there. And Brusau is saying, I I was gonna try to get out, uh, but I've been moving around, uh, and I was supposed to come back here last night to pick up my daughter, and I told her not to go out, but there was a girl involved, and she was she's a teenager, and she didn't listen to me, and I got reports this morning that she had been picked up and that they know who she is. And the the Drylanders, the people who are here, the guy from the Convergence that's kind of been hunting me, that they have her at the powder plant. And I've spent today trying to like stay low and not move and try to figure out what to do. But I can't leave her in their hands. I can't leave without her. So I mean, you have to go back and tell your employers that I can't go yet.
You said she's being held at a powder plant.
Yeah, certain portion of the marrow gets milled, ground down. They've got some water wheels that turn it into a fine powder, easier for injectables and other things.
Well, just so happens I've been trying to get some of that myself, so why not get two birds with one stone, right, folks?
I didn't come all this way to go home empty-handed.
We don't go back on our jobs. This is part of the job.
I can't, I don't have anything to pay you with.
Let your bosses handle that, and maybe you can just owe us one.
Okay. Um, they've got, they took over the powder plant because it's one of the more like central and secure locations. They've been using that at their setup. I know they've taken a number of people there, and they've definitely been hunting for me and rounding up other radicals and have them there. Um, it's mostly guard folk, but they do have a convergent named Lasco, who seems to be heading up this whole thing.
And sorry, what was the name?
Lasco is his name.
All right. So you said there's more than just your daughter there, that they've been grabbing people.
Yeah, part of the whole like, well, they've got the place in lockdown. I mean, and they had an excuse. There was a real backup of miasma, and that's what they said, that they were here to keep it contained. And then they started hunting around for me. And when people got a little mouthy,
Mhm.
they grabbed them up. But I I think this is all for my benefit.
Do you think there's a way for them to instigate this thick miasma and use it as literal and figurative cover to take claims over things and people?
Maybe, I don't know.
Hmm.
I mean, we've had it thick before, but nothing like this.
I think we need to have a talk with this Mr. Lesko. Mister?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't take kindly to unlawful search and seizure.
It's going to be dangerous. You've got a lot of people there. He'll sit down and, as best he can, with what fragments of paper he has, he will kind of sketch out, where the powder plant is from here. The couple of the routes that you could take to get there. And he'll say, but you got to be careful. They got patrols out on the streets. Uh, and I don't know what you did with the guards out front, but you may not have much time before they come back and come in. I mean, do you want me to go with you? Do you want me to go to a bolt hole? What do you want?
My worry is that if they discover that you're missing, that they'll
They didn't know I was here. I was tucked away.
Oh, okay.
They were watching the place because of my mom.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Mm.
Never mind.
I'd say stay down. Don't walk into it.
See, I was thinking we should bring him with us or
Yeah.
put him in the sewers where we hope to escape, just because then we don't have to come back and deal with these guards again. Because otherwise, they'll be,
In the sewers, I'd go with.
yeah, maybe
Okay.
not with us on the mission. Yeah.
Yeah, he will say, you show him what the location is that you want to go into, and you do see him make a face like, okay, uh, but kind of looks around and clearly trusts that you know what you're doing. And he says, uh, well, when we go, I'll head that way and get myself tucked away.
Just be
Just for a
glad we're
few
not
hours.
going out the way we came in. You wouldn't have liked that.
Okay. Um, and essentially, it's going to require the group of you, like, do you want to go on the ground? Do you want to try and go by rooftop? What do you think is the approach to get over to the powder plant? The challenge right now is traveling through, and once you get there, then it becomes a second job that we roll an engagement roll for.
I like rooftop because with the miasma being what it is, it will be harder for people on the ground level to see people on top of buildings, is kind of the way I think about it.
Yeah, and there's less likely to be patrols on rooftops except for around like key locations. So we could probably get from here to there more easily. I mean, there's the trouble of,
All right.
being on rooftops, but other than that,
So this is going to be a prowl roll, I think. Does that seem right? That's our at both athletic and stealth thing. This is a chance for us to engage another mechanic that maybe we haven't seen yet, which is leading a group action. Basically, with a group action, uh, one player leads it. Everybody rolls their roll, and we take whatever the best result is from those rolls as the effect for the group. However, the leader will mark stress depending on the failures of the people that are following them. So let's say Remy were leading that. Remy would roll a die, and then we would have Svetlana and Kagato roll. And if they both missed, then Remy would mark two stress. So I see that both Remy and Kagato have a dot of prowl. Svetlana, you seem to lack the requisite dot of prowl that you would like to have for this, though.
that's correct. I don't sneak, I blow up.
Okay. So who would like to potentially lead this group action?
I can lead it.
Okay. Uh, so we'll start with you, and folks are welcome to push themselves to get extra dice, or you can do all that on a group action roll as you would wish. Remy, let me start with you. Um, let's have you roll for your group action roll. You've got one dot in prowl.
Okay, and I think I will push for one more.
Okay. Mark two stress, and you're rolling with two dice. So that's a five. We got already a five as a mixed success. Svetlana, you have nothing in prowl. So you normally be rolling two dice and taking the lowest. Do you want to stick with that?
Or burn two stress to roll what?
One die.
By itself naked. I'll take the chance. I'll roll disadvantage. I
Okay.
apologize in advance for the stress I'm about to give you, Remy.
So there's a lovely six, but there's also a one. So it is a one. So Remy, you do mark one stress. Um, Remy is doing well. What Svetlana, what do you think it is that Remy has to keep you from doing?
I think we're going along and she's like making Svetlana's making sure she has all her things and like a wrench tumbles out of her bag, hits the sloped roof and starts sliding down. And Svetlana starts to grow just thoughtlessly reaches for it. And Remy sees she's going down. And you grab me by the back of my shirt and pull me back. And I watch as it slides all the way down and thunks into the gutter. And I just,
A good
oh,
wrench.
yeah, that was a good wrench. Hope I don't need it. And
E- Excellent. And Kagito, you're rolling prowl with one die unless you want to boost it.
Um, it's a 50-50 as is. I'm willing to take the chance. Just you one.
Okay.
6.
So this is six. So that brings us to a full success. You don't mark any more stress. Uh, I think we'll see the three of you finding your way across these rooftops. There are various boards and things that are built. There are a few gaps that you have to jump. There are some guards up on the sort of the corner buildings of these blocks, and you will slip by them in the darkness without too much of a problem. And you will get to an area that is much more brightly lit. And I think we'll see the three of you kind of poking your heads over, and you'll see it is clearly a kind of industrial building. Definitely has uh, the kind of venting stacks on it. You can see that there is a water course that runs underneath it that's running the water wheel for it. Uh, there are various of the electrolytes that are out. They've got the wires running down to those, and they've got this sort of plaza kind of surrounded with lights. And you will see there are definitely guards here. Um, so we've got sort of two approaches to this. Either we can kind of define this job by like what the method of entry is in terms of like the break-in, or we can define this job uh, via like how are you, setting this up for stealthing in or getting in quick. Thoughts on that, Remy? I'm going to start with you on this, our improviser.
Um, yeah, so to get us in close, it's brightly lit, but there's still fog around here, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can see how yellowish and green it is now, I think, with the lighting.
yeah. So, I think Remy would like to use that. We don't want to kill the lights or anything yet. We may want to do that on the way out. We don't want to alert them on the way in. So I think his preference would be to use some kind of illusion of fog to get close. And whether that's find a place to break in, find a guard at the door to knock out, leave that for the others. But I want to make us our own little whiteout fog cloud where the light is too
Using your
brilliant.
illusion to sort of bright out and cover as the three of you go in through one of the loading or main doors that you can get past.
Yeah.
Svetlana, Kagito, you good with that?
Yep,
Okay.
sounds good.
There is an approach roll we make for this now.
Mhm.
Let me get to that. So we start with one die for this particular score. Um, I think it's pretty daring, so I've given you a die. Um, I do think, though, that we've got a lot of guards, we've got a lot of lights there. I think that there you have some tactical difficulties working against you. Um, but I think you've gotten beforehand information and such, if we still let that friends and contacts play over, and certainly uh, um, DeClaude, uh, Defang, sorry, would have given you some information. So 2 dice for the approach roll. Now, Kagato, I believe, rolled last time. So Remy, I'm going to make you roll this time.
It's fair. All right, 2 dice. 5 and a 4.
5 and a 4. So what does it look like when you cast your illusions? What do the others see? Is it easy for you? Is it taxing? Like what is it hand gestures? Like what are we going to see on screen?
I think there's a moment of going very still, and this is almost calling back to some of that early academic training of still the body, still the mind. But then it shifts and they can see like a strain in his face. Because I think he draws on some of the maybe not the full nightmare magic, but he's drawing on those fears of, they'll see me, I'll be a failure in public, I'll, whatever those old fears are. And then the image just gradually starts to, since it's the fog, it just gradually starts to thicken around us.
Absolutely. And it is a weird feeling, Svetlana Kagato, because you are moving to your eyes completely out in the open uh, as you are crossing past. And there's a bit of waiting for a cycle of some of these guards to step away from one of these doors. And you will walk in, uh, and it's very loud in here. The water wheel is going. There are big millstones that are sort of on the factory floor of this place that are still going. They don't turn them off at all. The water wheel is still connected. You can see that they've got some guards on the floor here. There's definitely kind of walkways up to what looks like kind of catwalk offices, like clearly the foreman's offices and things like that are up top. And I think you get past these first guards, you get onto the factory floor, and it's not actually as well lit in here. So you have a little more shadow to work with, but it definitely looks like there must be a storage basement, uh, with kind of big loading doors down to it. And there are clearly guards like standing watch. Given that there's no other big places to put people, that's got to be where they are. So right now, the challenges are you've got some shadows, you've got some noise, but you still need to kind of move around outside guards. Uh, we've got that position where those guards are, where they've got them locked down. There may be some people up top watching. You're not sure what other kind of security, magical or otherwise, there is. Svetlana,
Yes.
what's the next step here?
Well, I mean, from where we're standing to the big doors, are these big doors like 10 feet tall? Like, are these something we couldn't open without everyone seeing and hearing?
Yeah,
Or
they are in the floor. They've got to be
okay.
lifted open. You're guessing there's probably some kind of hydraulic or water worked lift to go up and down there. Um,
Does it look like there are other avenues? For example, there must be ventilation to get into there.
let's have you make
Especially,
a gather information roll.
excellent.
What do you, does survey feel right for this?
Yeah, I think so. I'm
Okay.
trying to study an area,
Yeah.
a location. So that's 1 die.
Yeah. And gather information is has no potential consequences. It's just about level of success here.
Right. I can push myself or accept a devil's bargain if I really don't like it, but I just was thinking if I have any items that I could employ here. Do 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 do.
Yeah, if you had anything that you think would be appropriate,
Yeah, that's what
surveying
I'm
or
looking for. I was thinking, I don't know, I could come up with something silly, but I will, I will just go ahead because, it is important to be able to control the flow of fumes and toxic gases in my line of work. I could
absolutely.
imagine something that allows me to, produce like a very thin line of smoke so I could find where the air is blowing.
I like that. I like that.
All right, I
So
will
if you want to
mark that.
if you mark something, I'll give you another die on your your information roll.
So I will call that. I mean, I'm gonna have a fine tinkering tools. I could
Yeah.
mark that as that. Okay. So then that's two. Here we go. A five again, my magic
Okay.
number.
So I think that there is definitely a set of venting um, that must go downstairs. One of the reasons you know that is if they are storing powder of any kind, they need to kind of keep a little bit of circulation there to keep from buildup. Um, and I think you can see where to get to that. It is not particularly big, but it is classic infiltration venting. And with a five, I'll give you a follow-up.
Okay. Um, I don't know. I mean, is there a pathway from us to it that would minimize exposure to guards?
Actually, it looks like uh, the best place is actually nobody's around it, but it is a little more dangerous. And one of the accesses to the vents is over at the millstones. And there's nobody like standing and watching guards there because it's super loud there. It's really unpleasant to be around. The vibration is really disturbing. So you'll have no real chance of being spotted, but you will have to time getting into the vent right.
I like it. I just have a question. What I don't think we've established what the role of this industry is. Is this something do we think that's kind of like supporting the Drylanders more than us? Or like, for example, I have the ability to take control of inanimate objects. I could break this machine maybe, or like jam it at least, throw a, wooden shoe in the gear, so to speak.
The
Um,
marrow is definitely an industry that operates down here. This particular like form of the marrow is used in like alchemy, high level magic, serum mages, things that Kagato works with, that kind of thing.
okay.
It is less uh, given over for the common person on the street, this particular edge of the industry.
I was just wondering, like, who would I be hurting if I, damn it, temporarily disabled this
You
thing?
would
And it
be
doesn't.
hurting mages and alchemists and uh, those
Hmm.
kinds of folk.
Okay. What do you think,
I
Cogito? If I
think you'll
did
feel
have to
in
do
the
that?
back of your mind as you're thinking about that, you'll feel a real sense of, oh no, don't do that. You can't do that. You can't mess with the supply. Why would you mess with the supply? What are you thinking? That's insane. We need that. We need to have that spice flowing.
Do I recognize where this line of thought is coming from?
Oh yeah, it's that soul that's attached to you.
Yeah, it's the magic bit. Okay, okay. Well, all right. All right. Well, I just have that in my back pocket. I need it in case I need to use
Okay.
that. All right. Because that would certainly cause a distraction if the wheel broke all of a sudden. It's like grinding gears or sounding this horrible noise. All right. Well, I tell everyone, well, if you don't mind risking getting squished, we could go right there.
I can make it. Remy, what about you?
I'm good. I'm good. We can go that way. Side note, I don't know if this is conversation or just above the table. If you want the horrible noise, etc., without actually breaking the machine, that is also an option.
Oh, good idea. the sound of it breaking when it's not in fact breaking. That
Oh,
would
we have an
cause all the
illusionist.
engineers to
Yeah.
freak out, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that would be a distraction too. All right.
But
Whatever you do, I say just save some of the marrow for me. I meant it when I didn't when I said I wasn't leaving empty-handed.
yeah, Kagito, I think we see you all kind of moving your way, threading your way through the machinery that's around here. Get into that big section with a couple of millstones. Stayed out of sight of people here. That grinding is going off, and Kagito, there is marrow powder dust all over the ground here. You know, they clearly haven't been taking care, so they haven't been vacuuming anything up. It's just in some drifts here. You could easily take some time. It would delay the group a bit, but you could take some time and get yourself some of this stuff.
Um, I will. Yeah, I won't even ask. I think I just sort of creep over to these, I kind of picture like big piles of sawdust almost.
Yeah.
Um, and I wonder if I might have some, looking at my inventory here, I just wonder if I might have some kind of, something in my bandolier maybe. Yeah, it has pouches to hold alchemical agents, so I might just,
Absolutely. If you mark that bandolier, use that item up in your load, empty your pockets out so you can get this stuff in there. I think that's no problem.
okay. Yeah, I can have up to two bandoliers, so I'll use
Okay.
my second one. The first one is
Okay.
what had the poison in it.
Okay. I think you all will see as you're kind of getting ready to go, and you'll see Kogito over there madly stuffing the dust into the pouches, his Rob Liefeld pouches on his outfit there.
I get it. If it was like rare mechanisms, I'd probably be kid in a candy store too. But
I think we all get that.
I
I don't think,
think, yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, I don't think Remy is necessarily going to wait. If we've laid out about what our approach is, he'd be interested in going ahead.
Okay. I think this is finesse, right? Or is there something else feel better for you, Remy?
Um, Finesse to like get down in the vents.
Yeah,
Yeah,
without
that
getting,
makes sense.
okay. I think this is a desperate action because it is kind of dangerous right away there. So desperate with finesse there.
This is true.
But you get to mark XP.
This is
Yes.
true. Yeah, I'll go with it as it stands.
Okay.
4 and a 6.
That's six. There is the moment, see, the millstones are weirdly kind of rolling and offset. There are like three of them together and they're kind of doing that. And you have to wait until there's that gap between them and you've got to drop in. Because one of the things that's happening is there's water coming down to cool off the stones. And so you've got to do and kind of sluice slide down into this vent. And 1 minute you're there and then you're gone. And you slide down like a master down below. Uh, Svetlana, you, do you want to go next or should Kagito go next?
I mean, I think I'll go because Kogito's gathering their bone dust, but or whatever. But I have zero finesse.
That you do.
Really leaning into my strengths here. All right. Yeah, I will do all the things. What would a devil's bargain look like on this? Or
What
should I
would it?
wait till after we roll?
Oh no, Devil's Bargain would get you that extra die, so you might do that. I think that uh, let me see here. I think that the Devil's Bargain is that regardless of whatever else happens, you're going to take a level one bruised harm here, like because this is not your forte. You're not very good at knowing how to like jump and land right. So you're going to do that regardless. Does that seem reasonable?
Mhm. And then that will just get me an extra die, is that correct?
That
Which
is
means I won't
correct.
be rolling with disadvantage.
Correct. You'll be rolling a die, and then you could spend stress if you want to push yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
And am I right in thinking the mechanism for harm here is that bruise just doesn't really have a mechanical effect? It's the
Correct.
second one?
Well, actually, none of the wounds now have a mechanical effect.
Hmm.
What they do is if we invoke them to harm you,
Hmm.
then they might change your position
Okay.
or effect, but also give you an XP.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
I'll take
Yeah.
it. And
Okay.
yeah, that's fun.
Bruce, and actually, I realized that you can't push yourself when you do the devil's bargain, but you could have somebody help you.
Let's say I look at if I get close
Kagato,
enough, yeah, either that or I could whisper down to Remy, like, tell me when to go.
Or you see Remy timing out the rhythm of, this is when it get and
Tapping my foot behind you, trying to catch the rhythm, and I can't dance.
Remy, do you want to mark that stress to give Svetlana an extra die?
sure, I'll do that.
Okay. Svetlana, that's two whole dice. This is
Not bad.
desperate.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. Double sixes.
Are you kidding me? What the what? I
Zero
think
finesse, thank you.
you're super nervous. You're thick, and then you're just down, and you still take that bruise, but it
I
is
think
nothing.
I'm doing this thing at the edge, like, and then I stumble and trip and fall forward just right at the right time,
Just
head
the
first,
perfect time.
and
It
bonk
it
my head.
and you will down. Hagato, you look up and you're the only one left up here.
Time to time to go, I guess. So I'll
You,
try it.
yeah, you come over. You kind of haven't been watching them because you've been getting your stuff, so you're not exactly sure of the timing. Uh, so finesse, one die.
I've got one.
Would you also like to take, and I will offer you the same devil's bargain that I gave Svetlana.
Yeah, no, let's do that.
Okay,
So I take one level harm and it's like essentially
bruised.
bruising. Yeah,
Yep.
that's okay. So that gets me up to two dice then.
Yeah.
All right, let's roll two. Five.
So that is a five. Uh, so I think that uh, you just miss a little bit of it, but this is a desperate action. So what gets caught? Is it a hand? Is it a shoulder? Do you go down head first and it's a foot?
Um, yeah, I'm gonna say that. Ooh, what gets caught? Yeah, a foot. You know, an
Okay.
ankle gets turned or
Yeah.
banged or something, so I'm kind of like having to
So
limp on it a little bit.
this is going to be a level two harm
Oh boy.
of crushed foot.
Okay.
Uh, now, there are a couple of ways that you can offset this. One is to spend your armor,
Yeah.
which will lower it down to a level one twisted foot.
Now I've already got level one bruised though.
But you can have as many level ones as you want. It's only when you get the same wound. If I give you another bruise, that bruise would go to level two.
Oh,
This is the deep cuts wound system.
interesting. Okay.
So twisted ankle at level one, spend your armor.
Let's do that. Now I also have the option of taking heavy armor because I'm conspicuous. What does that offer?
That means you can mark armor twice.
Oh, okay. Do I have to decide on if I have heavy armor now, or can I do that at a
You
different
should
time
actually
whenever I...
decide that now and
Okay,
say,
I've got heavy armor then.
okay, then your armor will protect that. You could spend both instances and not take any.
I'll just do the one for now.
Okay. I was pushing my luck there. I thought I might get that, but yeah.
Yeah.
So twisted foot, mark that as a level one harm there. Um, and again, with that harm, that's something that you can invoke yourselves. You can say, "Hey, I think I'm going to have less effect, or I think I'm going to be in a worse position because of that," uh, and then to get an XP trigger off of it. So that's one of the ways to
Oh,
do that thing.
okay. And I
Um,
can call that for myself?
absolutely. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, so Remy, you're the first one down. Slide, I think it comes out, and there is definitely like, a thing at the end, and you open it up and you're down. You can see it's maybe a 20-foot drop to a big, stone storage rooms. It's kind of cold down here. And you'll see that they've got boxes of the dust and other things, marrow that has been brought in. And there are about 9 locals down here, uh, including there is a girl who is just glowing with angry teen vibes. Arms crossed, everyone is kind of staying clear of her. She definitely looks like your like Brusau. Um, and do you just drop down in with your don't see any guards down here.
Um, I think he's not going to drop down in just yet. He's going to perch up here and
Yeah, you like the rafters.
yeah, Remy is definitely a likes his elevation. Well, in this case, because it lets him be visible to this crowd,
Okay.
and he's gonna just call out down to them that, hey, who's ready to get out of here?
And I think they will look up at, you're up in the rafters of this room 20 feet up. And they look at you and kind of stand and uh, you know, uh how?
We've got some friends around. I can, maybe blow those doors, maybe go catch some of these people from behind, let them know what we think of things.
Svetlana, you gonna say something?
Yeah, I can imagine she lands and Remy in front goes to the location. But I'm assuming this is a ventilation system and not just a single tube from the grindstones.
Yeah, there are different vents off from this.
I mean, I think she's going to spend a moment trying to orient, like, well, maybe we can lead them up here and take them out to a way closer to one
I
of the
think
exits.
that is a great idea, but you've got 9 people of varying physical
Mm.
forms and skills down there. I think that you like looking at them. I think as a quick essay, you're like, yeah, a few of these people I could probably hoist up to 20 feet to these vents
What's that far?
and get
Oh,
them to crawl. But
not there's like an elderly person or,
yeah,
yeah, a small person or a large person
Oh,
or,
we can
right.
blow things up.
I'm always up for
We
that.
can blow the doors.
Is that like, are the metal, I guess if the
so
doors were to
let's
open,
describe, and I
yeah,
think
help me
then
out.
Cogito will come down, clearly favoring his foot. You're all kind of still up in the rafters above, so you have a chance to kind of talk to one another. You will see that the doors, of course, they are in the ceiling, 20 feet up, and there is definitely a hydraulic lift that is down here. And you guess they've got it locked from the top and locked from the top. And I put that in quotation marks for Svetlana because I think that is an easy thing to take care of. But it looks like one of those, this goes up, and when it hits a certain point, it'll push those doors upwards. Um, but it moves pretty slow.
Okay.
I've heard explosion. I've heard moving people up through the vents. Um, I think all of these people on the ground are kind of, standing there. There are a few of them that look like when you've said, Remy, get them from behind, they're like, yeah, yeah. And they're looking around for like rocks or sticks or anything that's down here that they could.
Okay.
I think maybe they're pulling off, a plank so that they have the equivalent of a 2x4 to swing because otherwise they are unarmed.
Yeah, yeah, definitely back
Okay.
and forth with some of these people. Yeah, see, you get me, you get this. We can do this.
Okay.
So we blow the doors, but then what? How do we get them safely out into the city again? Do we get them to the nearby the fog you've created? I could use my way with object machines to make the lights go out when we need them. Then we
What's
could
going out?
run during the chaos of an explosion and the darkness.
So
Uh,
I'm imagining we have some kind of a shorthand back and forth. This is not taking this long
absolutely.
to have
Yeah.
this conversation. Um, I like the lights going out. I like getting people to safety. I do not like leaving those people in charge here and not hitting back.
I could,
Do if we want
I
to
could.
split, lead some of them out. The ones that want to hit back, we hit back.
I mean, I don't particularly care about the peons working here. I could stop the wheel.
We could stop the wheel. The what's his name? Not let's go. Whatever his name is.
Well, let's go. Let's say, I mean, he's here, but he has this detachment of guards. I mean, we're willing to fight our way out, but I think one of them will say, I don't want to fight all these guards.
You know, I did grow up a Drylander. Don't hold it against me, she says quickly to the beast, the neighbors here. And that she says, hitting them in their pocketbook always hurts more than punching them in their face.
All right, then as long as we hit them, I'm good with any way to hit them.
So the question becomes, then I I I've heard blah blah, and then we're going to kill the lights and get them out. What's the initial stage here? Is it is it rigging the elevator? Is it sneaking up on the elevator? What is that going to look like?
So there's an elevator that goes up to the big doors,
Yep.
and there are no guards on it as well, or is the elevator
The
guarded?
the guards are up top.
Okay. So we could take the elevator up, or, I could blow open the doors. We can with a demolitions equipment. I could use my special ability to knock the lights out. One of us could just. I mean, I can use my power to stop the object, or I'm going to be maxing out stress. I
Oh,
could use an
yes.
object. I could throw another bomb to destroy or temporarily disable the wheel, and then I'm going to be like, Remy Cogito, please get us out of here. I'm tired. That's the best I got right now.
If
What do
there's
you think?
anything I can do to assist with that, I have one dot in rec. Um,
Hmm.
which is all about basically blowing stuff up and breaching defenses and applying sabotage and that kind of thing. So, um, if that would be of
I
use, we got we got a die there.
Yeah.
I somehow don't have any in rack. I blew it on when I was making this character. Oh, I'll have to add one there later.
So guards and elevator first.
Yeah. Let's deal with that. And then we'll figure out where we are. Don't and if you have any flashbacks or these. So this seems to
Hmm.
me like Svetlana, we see you going over to the mechanism, Cogito with her, um, getting it kind of unlocked, and then getting using a demolition charge.
Yeah, something along those lines, which I can mark that under um, demolition tools, I
Either
guess.
you or Svetlana can mark that. I
Oh, either
either
one.
one.
Yeah, whoever wants to. Yeah.
I mean,
Svetlana, are those
does
yours?
does conspicuous mean like what's the limit? Like you're gonna have quite a bit able to carry quite a bit more than me.
Yes,
I
because
chose
uh,
inconspicuous.
yeah, actually, because demolition tools are two boxes, they are heavy, which means that only Kagato could actually have them.
Okay. That would be me then. That would max me out on inventory. But I'm okay with that.
Okay, and you've still got another box of armor to mark at your disposal.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm going to let Svetlana use Tinker for this rather than Wreck.
Thank you.
Kagato, you wish to assist?
Yes, that
Okay,
sounds very
there are a couple of
appropriate.
ways that you can do this. You can either use your Wreck to help set up the action, which means we make a separate roll, or you can just spend stress to give Svetlana an extra die.
I will spend a stress.
Okay, so Svetlana, 3 dice with this Tinker. Right now,
Mhm.
Kagato has marked the demolition tools. Right now, we're at risky standard effect.
Okay, here we go. 553.
553. So I imagine all of you are back and you will get up there, you plant the explosives, bring the elevator back down. Uh, you're again, the noise up stop is keeping them from hearing the elevator go up and down. Get those explosives planted. Everyone will fall back, and then there will be this horrible kaboom. And the explosives, sort of a serum tech kind of mix of chemicals, I'm imagining, that go together, Kagato, for the kinds of bombs that you carry. What do you think your explosive demolition kit looks like, Kagato?
Oh boy. I like the idea that it's a lot of I'm trying to remember what it's called. I have this mental image of it again from Metal Gear Solid. But
It,
basically, you have these kind of like explosive, putties. Basically,
mhm.
you can like stick them onto the wall, and they're, like a highly concentrated kind of silly putty sort of material. But then when they combust, it's loud and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Chemical reaction, kind of thermite. It will blow upwards. It will blow those doors open. It will knock the guards back. They are not out, but they are back. However, I think with a 5, I think you have broken the elevator. That is a
Hmm.
consequence. You may resist that consequence if you wish.
I mean, I would definitely try to, yes.
Okay. Then let's have you do that with insight.
Okay. That is 3 dice again. A 5.
So you're going to mark a stress.
Hmm.
So doors are blown open, huge noise up top. People are sent flying backwards. Uh, Remy, like, what are you doing? Are you organizing the people to try and get them out? Are you doing an illusion? What do you think the next step is going to be here for you?
Um, I'm still a little unclear on the connections. So with the doors, this is going to be immediately visible up top, in
Yeah,
the
essentially, it was in
middle.
the middle of the plant floor. It has blown those doors open. It has knocked the guards that were by there back. The elevator is going to come up. You're going to be a little exposed there when you come out, but right now there's a lot of smoke and dust and things in the air from that.
Right. Um, gonna be a little complex. I want to mask that if I can, make the doors look undamaged. And I don't want to necessarily suppress the noise, but I want to see if I can redirect it and make it look like it's coming from the front doors or something like that.
So you want to spend how much stress then?
Um,
I think it's going to have to cover multiple senses.
yep,
It's going to have to cover an area. I
that's
think we're
true.
talking four stress there.
Or stress. Oh, hey, look at that. Look what I've got left.
Okay.
Um, the one other thing I do have is the fine black mirror,
Okay.
which essentially functions like a spirit mask would for a whisper.
Okay.
I don't think that helps with the stress, but I don't know if that would be effect or
So yeah. So uh what I here's what I'll say. You can affect it. I think mean, people are going to feel and hear the explosion. The
Hmm.
guards in the middle are going to be thrown back. People looking down from above are going to see that intact, and you're going to have a few moments of cover on that. Does that seem like a reasonable thing?
Yeah.
Uh, so mark those four stress and then tell me what trauma are you going to take?
Uh, it almost feels like cheating to say reckless.
It does not seem like
Or
cheating to
appropriate.
me.
Uh, yeah, definitely. We're
Yeah.
gonna go
Uh,
reckless then.
so you do that, you clear your stress track.
Hmm.
Okay. You've got that reckless. You mark that you have one of your four possible traumas. Um, and how do we know that you've gone that direction? Like, what do we see here in this?
Um, I think that when this goes off, Rami is going to be one of the first. Oh no, he's going to be the first one to actually burst out of there,
Okay.
and is going to be trying to draw attention uh, to let everyone else slip behind him.
So this next step here is you've gotten up to, the blast. You've got some extra time because of that illusion of concealment before there's the pop out and getting out onto the floor of the facility. Uh, are you uh, turning the lights off, Svetlana?
I think as we're about to emerge, right? So like just before we're visible, she looks up and she's been keeping her eye on this lighting rig. And she's been trying to identify, and I can flash back for this if you need me to, a main junction.
Okay.
Somewhere that if she takes control of that, she can control all the lights in the area.
Absolutely. Well, you can make it move. So you could pull it off the wall and or flip the switch and shut the fuse off. Mark a stress.
Okay.
Um, as the lights go down, Cogito. Elevator has come up. People are we're like, what's going on down there? People were thrown back. You've got these people up here, but there's still some guards around, and then the lights go out. What do we see you do? The things right now to handle are the guards, moving the people along, getting the doors secured. I think those are sort of the three tasks that are at hand.
Um, well, between the three of us, I feel like I'm probably the best equipped to handle the guards.
Okay.
Um, so then this poses the question of what's the best way to do that? I could probably take any one of them in single combat, but if there's several, then we might need to escalate things a little bit here.
You could
Um,
start sniping them. I mean, you are much better at ranged.
yeah. Um,
Oh, but you don't have a pistol, do you?
no, and I maxed out my inventory, so
So you've just got your blowgun.
yeah, and only two uses of it, with poison at least. However, actually, it's not just poison. It says that I can also employ bombs.
Okay.
So is just to clarify in the future, do I determine what's in my bandolier before, or do I just
Nope.
have? Okay.
You tell me what you got.
I mean, there is smoke bomb, there is grenade. Any and all of those sound lovely to me.
Sure. So,
Fire oil.
tell me what action you want to use with this, and tell me how that's getting played out.
Um, so what action would I like to use?
Yeah.
Now the guards are. I'm trying to think here. How
So right now, in terms of the
yeah.
guards, you've got the guards that are outside at the doors who are like heard an explosion.
Hmm.
You've got the guards who were by these like this thing that got blown up. They are kind of have been thrown back. They're getting up now. They're trying to figure out what's going on, and then probably some guards up on the catwalks that are getting organized to come down.
Okay. Um, you know what? I'm gonna do my I'm gonna try to address a challenge with technical skill or mayhem, emphasizing the mayhem here. Is
Okay.
there a way I can just like basically huck a grenade up to the catwalk in order to like blow the whole thing and bring it down, just destroy the scaffolding completely?
There's only one way to find out, and that is to
Okay.
try. So that feels like wreck.
Yeah, that's more wreck than hunt, I think.
Yeah. So and do you want to push yourself?
Yeah, we'll take 2 stress, and so I've got 1 stress remaining. But so it goes. So that gets me to 2 dice.
That gets you to 2 dice.
Um,
Do you go kind of running and throw this grenade up to hit one of the braces for the catwalk?
yep, that sounds good. I'm trying not to kill
Ooh, ooh,
anyone, but
ooh,
it's
that foot hurts, doesn't it?
oh damn it. Yeah, it sure does, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I think this is going to be desperate standard effect. Does that seem like a reasonable thing?
That
Mark
sounds great.
XP.
Yeah, sure. All right. Okay. So that marks 1 in prowess. It's 2 dice,
Two
desperate. Here
dice.
we go.
A one or
Oh,
a two.
oh, that's a 2 high.
So I think that you'll run, and there is that moment when you kind of twist your ankle there and you throw it, and it hits the catwalk and it bounces back. And I think it lands by you. And I think there is a moment where you have to curse yourself before it explodes. And I think that is going to be a a level 2 blown up wound.
I'd like to spend the rest of my armor.
Okay, then it is a level 1 singed. There, I think is a reasonable thing. I think you are
Okay.
thrown back by that. You achieve the effect of creating more chaos down here, I will say, and as you asked, mayhem as that goes off because people saw you and they're like, yeah, and then when they saw the grenade fly back, they're like, run, and so they're trying to get away as that goes up. Remy, chaos on the dance floor here. It's
The
crazy here.
best.
The people are there. There you still have some threat from guards, but you really want to get these people out, right?
Hmm.
How do you want to do that? What do you think is the action you want to use, and how do you want to do that?
Yeah. Um, so I want to get the people to go one way. I want to get the guards to go a different way if I can. I think Grammy's going to focus on the guards.
Okay,
I will trust the people or trust my teammates to shepherd them out somehow.
okay.
Assuming that we've identified possible ways out. I
So
think what Remy is going
yeah,
to do when there's those moments of we burst out, the lights go down, there's this explosion not where it was supposed to be. I think he's going to try to position himself not as if he's coming from the elevator, but as if he's coming from somewhere else. And he is um, trying to grab the guard's attention and yelling things like, "Okay, we're in now. Spread out, cover the machine, break." Trying to give the impression that we are breaking in, not we are breaking out.
absolutely. I think that your focus on the guards is maybe complicating, your the situation I'll just mention here. I think that in terms of that XP trigger that you just got too, we've definitely hit
Mhm.
that. So are you marking any gear to help you get this done?
Um, let me just look through here. Um, I'm trying to wrap my head around the otherworldly muse, and I
Uh,
don't quite follow what that does. Is that just a type of devil's bargain, or can it do other things
so
also?
it says when taking trauma, let's see, dark inspirations.
Lost far from reality. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that quite
Yeah,
applies or not.
no, I don't think that applies in this situation. I think that's more of a like if you're facing someone, you can kind of draw on some memories or feelings to kind of tamp them down or change
Right,
them.
right. Um,
They're definitely, you've got pistols as a possible thing there, arcane implements.
um, I think actually, if I'm trying for chaos and confusion, let me grab a lantern.
Okay, all right. Pull that
And
out, light that up.
yep, and I think if it can specifically be one of the hooded lanterns, so I can
Yeah,
open it and close it and point it in specific directions, and we're putting on a little bit of a show here.
absolutely. So, what action do you think it is to do this kind of large scale chaotic mess of a distraction?
Yep. Um, it's sounding to me like Sway.
I like it. Yeah.
I'm putting on a show,
Do
and
you want to push yourself?
I just cleared all that stress. I might as well.
Yeah.
All
Uh,
right,
so that'll be two dice.
two dice. Let's put on a show.
So that's a six.
Good,
So
one and
in the
six.
chaos, the lights are out, but there are these flashes of the lantern beams. There's been an explosion. There's dust in the air. The guards on the ground are trying to figure out what's going on. The people up above didn't like because of that illusion, they didn't see exactly what happened. They know there was an explosion, but they don't know what's going on. And now there are these voices going on, and it's like chaos among the command line. Like the guards are not getting organized. They can't figure out exactly what's going on. Svetlana, what are you doing to take advantage of this?
I think she is now she's now come up and she sees all this go on. She sees Cogito get blasted back, like, oh, okay, they seem alive still. So then rushing forward to the head of the group of people, and she wants to um get them to our like sewer access, or no, we had a roof access. Get them to a place where they can like disperse into the
Yeah,
city
there
because she's gonna trust
essentially
them.
you need to get to the doors and get them out of here
Yep,
is what you want.
I want a clear
Uh,
path.
so what do you think you want to use? What action are you using to do that to herd these cats?
That's what I'm thinking about. How about I have I have the option of having an unusual weapon.
Okay.
So I think I am bringing with me a a device I've created using my Spark tech to
Okay.
it shoots a big like blast of repulsive energy, and it's like a just rams ahead and knocks everything in out of the way. So if there's any guards between us and the exit, it's like throwing a big giant bowling ball at them. They just
Okay.
get knocked back. That's the goal. If it works,
So yeah, this is a
don't doesn't harm them. It just knocks
okay.
them over.
So mark the unusual weapon,
Yes.
and uh, I think that I will let you use Tinker for that, but I
Mhm.
am going to say that this is another desperate action. I think that there are real chance for repercussions because you're using kind of a wild weapon in here while you're trying to lead people.
Yeah, she pulls it out. She's like trying to bend it. She's like, it's still a prototype, but this should. All right, and then here we go. So that is two dice,
Yeah.
and I am gonna do it one more time. I'm spending one more stress to give me three. I'm up to five stress now. Oh, and I
You
didn't need
got
it.
another
Six.
six. So I think you will fire this off essentially because there are guards who are on the outside of the doors. They've kind of started to open the doors. Uh, letting a little bit of the light in, giving you a place to go to because they're trying to figure out what's going on. They couldn't see particularly well in, and then suddenly for them, there's just this, uh, uh, you know, knock aside wind that comes through, sends them flying, and this group goes taking off into the streets. Um, uh, Kagito, uh, you will see that that teenager is running and not
Was
not
taking.
not like staying with all of you, but is taking off.
We didn't tell her who we are or what we're doing here.
Exactly.
We're
She
like,
is
we know your
running
dad.
pell-mell
Wait.
out into the streets. What do you want to do, Kagito?
Oh man. Okay.
I knew we were forgetting something.
I'm not happy about this. I've got one dart left.
Yes, you
You know,
do.
I this feels like awful to inflict on a kid, but I don't have the social skills to coax this person or calm them down. Stumbling to maybe like one knee, trying to keep weight off of my banged up foot. I'm going to kind of brace myself, get one more use of the paralysis because I don't know if do I have
Yeah,
anything that's more humane than that? I don't know that I do.
I think
Um,
paralysis or sleeping, I think would be reasonable to
is there a
say.
sleeping thing?
It would seem to me that if you can paralyze somebody, you could just knock them out too. Seems
Okay,
pretty.
so some kind of extremely heavy sedative.
Okay.
We'll do that, and that'll be the last use of items from my bandolier.
Okay.
So I'm blowing through all my resources for this mission.
Roll hunt.
All right, that's I think two by default. I don't want to blow my stress on
Why
this
not?
one,
You
so
get a
I'm get.
trauma.
Are
It,
those aren't good to have though, are they?
oh, well, you get to describe what goes on, and then they become an XP trigger. The only problem with trauma is when you've got the fourth one, you're out.
Okay.
Who
Sh
doesn't like trauma?
oh shucks, fine.
That's what I like to
So
hear.
max out the stress. I'm up to three dice.
Yeah.
All right, firing away. Four. Good thing I had the last die.
Okay. Um, what what do you think is going to be the trauma that you're going to come? Like what is this experience going to do to you? Because I think here's what you see. I think you see this young woman, proud, angry. I think you see her get to the doorway and she looks out and the moonlight falls on her face and you see her mouth the name of the woman that she loves and then shook and then she falls to the ground unconscious and you can just feel the love that you have absolutely squatched on with your big old boots.
Uh, um, what do we think? Haunted, I guess? Because I would feel guilty about this.
Yeah, I
I
like I
don't.
like I like Haunted that you kind of had to do this to an innocent. You didn't really like it. Does that seem reasonable?
That sounds good to me. So does my stress track
It
reset or
resets. All clear.
oh, everything's fine now.
Everything's fine
Great.
except you are haunted.
Gosh, good. Okay. And I've marked haunted.
Svetlana has cleared the area. The guards are distracted. You've got the teenager. The three of you can go. These people, like they were your pals for a moment, but as soon as they hit the streets, they are gone like rats in all directions. You will scoop up the teen, and I think we'll see you all vanish out into the shadows and fog, running, and make your way to the sewer place where uh, uh, DeClaude is, and you will meet up with him, hand him his unconscious teenage daughter. He will look at you briefly as if to say, okay, but then doesn't question you. And the three of you will vanish down uh, into that. I think you send that signal, and up above in the sky, through that hole in the roof, there's an explosion thrown by your shadow that creates an additional distraction here, and it is kind of chaos. And we will see you all leave. And you have successfully completed 2 jobs.
Just for a bit of flavor,
Sure,
can I, maybe it's a flashback, I don't know.
please.
The explosion is some kind of prepackaged image or illusion that it think Gandalf's dragon in Lord of the Rings, where this explosion shapes into this beast shape, and for a moment it looks like the beast itself is stirring.
I like it. I like it. Anything you want to add to the end of the rush out of here, Kagato, what we see you doing?
Um, Other than limping? Nah, I guess not.
Okay.
I wanted to ask real quick, was that final shot against the daughter? I forget. Did you say that was desperate or not?
Yes.
That was okay. I just didn't want to forget to mark it. Okay.
Yeah. She's going to be very angry at you. I think
Yeah,
you have made a long-term enemy, is essentially what the result is of that.
sure.
Um, uh, anything from you, Svetlana?
I think she's satisfied. This is,
Okay.
she's really excited that her little repulsor pistol worked this time.
Absolutely. Let's go to resolving this. You will return back. You will call up the Bayou folk. They will come, and Ramschned will thank you, and he will hand you 10 coin, which says to you, there's something going on. Like this much money, they don't balk. They will pay you that 10 coin. You can divide that out as much as you want, and of course, up to 4 can get stored in your crew, uh, which you've only
We
got room
already
for
have
1
that,
there.
right?
So, yeah, everybody's got to hang on to some of that. We can talk about the whole coin and setting yourself up and all of that stuff a little bit next time. Uh, you're going to get 3 rep for this. You were dealing with a group that was a higher tier than you. Uh, so I think that is an important detail. And I should have given you a rep last time. So there's another 2 you should have on the track from that. Um, do you wish to pay off the people who gave you your territory? And that is, I believe, if I recall correctly, the foundlings, those nomadic bandits. Um, if you do, you'll just have to pay them 2 coin and they will remain tight and friendly with you.
I mean, we just got a windfall. We might as well spend it on what we need, right?
Okay. So yeah, you will pay those 2 coins. So you ended up with 8 out of this job.
So does we each hold on to 2 and then 2 goes in the
Only one is we only got room for 1 left in the crew vault right now.
Can we save 1 for our missing crew member?
Yes, you may.
How's everybody feel about that? Is that cool?
Yep, that's good.
Let's see.
Where do we put the
Uh,
coin?
that is 4 heat. So you're going to go up to wanted level 1,
Ooh.
but we will clear your heat.
Boring spreadsheet question. Where are folks tracking their coin? Is it in crew? Oh, because it's an individual coin.
I've just had mine in the notes section
Yeah.
just because it's
Mhm.
There's oddly not a thing for tracking that because
Okay.
it ought to be there because it's kind of a big portion of it. I will take a look at that.
Okay. 2
Um,
today. I think I had 1 from before. Okay.
and then I roll entanglements. Luckily, uh, you are heat 0 again. So I'm going to roll, but you are level one, so we're going to roll it.
And I'm sorry, how much coin did we each get individually?
If each of you take two, one will go into the crew, and one will be left for parties to be named later.
Okay, got it. Two
Yeah.
then for me.
Okay. So I'm gonna make a note for myself that the entanglement we rolled is cooperation, which means a faction is going to ask you for a favor. But we'll talk about that next time. We'll talk about downtime and all of those things next time. We are going to do XP now, so that we can get that set. So I'm going to look at your yes.
Am I right in thinking that we do get 1 XP for every desperate roll we make,
Every
regardless of
desperate
whether we
roll,
succeed or fail? Okay.
exactly, yeah, and it goes into
Okay.
whatever roll place you made that roll.
Yes, I made several.
Yeah.
2 prowess and 1 insight.
Okay.
Or no, 2 was it? I think it was just 1 insight.
Next time, you're also going to get a crew advancement, which also means that you're going to get a new ability, but you're also going to get some payout from the crew for when we do that. We'll resolve that for next time. Let's go and do our individual XP things. So, first of all, Remy, yes, mark extra 2 XP for your Ozymandias.
Right.
And then, did you address a challenge with artistry and misdirection?
I think so.
Yeah, I think a couple of times there. I'm going to give you 2 for that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Um, I think at least a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
They don't get to tell us where we can go or take what
Yeah.
we know.
Let's have you mark an XP for that. And you got a trauma. So right now, right away, you get to mark an XP for having that trauma.
Yeah.
Uh, for Svetlana, definitely several times addressed challenges with technical skill or devices, so a couple of XP there. Again, you can put these in playbook or you can put them on a stat. It's up to you. And then, did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I think I did when I talked about knowing what would really hurt the Drylanders.
Yeah, let's give you an XP for that. I don't think you struggle with issues from your vice or traumas. Didn't get that yet. Let's come to Cogito. Uh, yeah, some technical skill and some mayhem
Yeah, I'd say
on a
there's 2
couple
for
of
that.
yeah, 2 points on that. Did you express your beliefs, drive, heritage, or background?
Probably not so much on that one.
Oh, I think you did, my
You think
friend.
so?
Look at you going and scooping up that dust when it wasn't
Oh,
a
that's
really good
true. That's a
idea.
drive. Yeah.
Yeah, give you
Yeah.
an XP for that.
Oh, that
Okay.
was like the first domino that led to the injury and the
Yep,
trauma and
it
all
was
kinds of
great.
stuff.
And
Fair.
you got a trauma, so you get to mark an XP for
Say
that.
there's 1 for that too.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Um, and so next time we'll get a little bit of bookkeeping, and then we'll check in with people with new abilities, and we'll go to the next downtime phase. So just remember, we are not playing in 1 week because Monster Hunter Wilds comes out. We are playing in 2 weeks.
Love it.
So we are not playing next Sunday. Uh, let's do Stars and Wishes. Remy, may I start with you?
Sure. And let me get my head down out of the clouds here.
Yeah.
Like Remy, I absolutely love getting to stage a one-man show there to get us out. Um, honestly, I'm having trouble
That's
focusing
okay.
it down enough. Um, I I did like maybe this stands out at the end, the blow dart to stop the teenager.
Yeah.
was Just a perfect story moment. Um, and yeah, that little bit of caution from Svetlana during the score of no, hit him in the pocketbook. You don't have to keep that tension going. I really like that. And I thought we had a good rhythm of handing off, different abilities and different approaches. That, wasn't particularly planned, but it came together in the moment. I
Hmm.
really like that. Um, and yeah, the nested scores of the, oh, by the way, there's a kid out there.
Yeah.
That was good. That it can feel a little bit samey when it's here's a job, go and do the job, here's some down. So breaking up that rhythm a little bit. I really like that. Um, wishes I just want to keep it going. And we've
Okay.
got so many good dynamics. I want to see where they continue to build and start to collide.
Excellent. Svetlana.
I had a lot of fun. A star for me was for you, Lowell, was great cliffhangers on the two breaks, especially yes. I can't leave. They have my daughter. I mean, like, what a classic action movie moment, right? You're like, oh no. Right. So that was wonderful. And the nested missions was a lot of fun. A star as well to everybody. I mean, this is similar to what Annie was saying. This like the way in which we like stacked our different strengths was really cool, you know? I mean, very much. I hadn't planned on Svetlana being this type of character at all. She was going to be like to use an A-team reference, she was going to be more of the Murdoch than the Hannibal,
Hmm.
but she felt a little Hannibal-y today, and like yeah, she was very much loving the fact that our plan came together. So that was great. And oh my gosh, Kogito, David, the dart was a little heartbreaking and perfect note. I also really just like kudos, more than one kudo. I'll give you kudos for the stopping to get the dust. I mean, you didn't even hesitate. You're like, oh yeah, stopping. And you're like, this is gonna cause all kinds of trouble. Mayhem in a different way. So props to that. I loved it. And yeah, the putting a like political spin on it, with Remy adding that like message, I really liked. Because of course, Svetlana wants to build weird crap, but she's a revolutionary at heart. So yeah, I loved it. Wishes, this is gonna sound perverse, but like I want Svetlana needs to roll poorly. She
Okay.
kept rolling
Yeah.
fives and sixes. Like I want to because she's the only one that got
Hashtag
out of.
Svetlana blessed today. It was
I know
it was
I got out with
wild.
no. I was burning stress with abandon, and I got out without a trauma. So I'm like, all
That's
right,
wild. Wild,
no,
wild,
I got
wild.
lucky. So that's me.
Okay. And Kagito.
Yeah, the big highlights for me were Gwen the double sixes on the on that roll. That was good. So that's the big highlight standout moment for me. Um, then also Annie, what you did with the detail about the dragon metaphor at the end with I liked it. That was a really high point for me. And just anytime you use the illusionist abilities, um, I think it adds a nice, not so much a foil, but just an alternate way of solving problems than blowing things up, which is it's important. I mean, not just because blowing stuff up is reckless and all, but because I think that it's good to have um, variety to keep the solutions from getting very samey. I think sometimes it's easy to have PCs who are kind of used to handling everything using the same approach because that's what they're spec'd to do. One time I had a character who in Monster of the Week who all they really knew how to do was hit stuff with their chainsaw, and it got samey after a while because every problem was I hit it with the chainsaw. There's nothing else I can do. So it's really good that you have the illusionist abilities as an additional just way of problem solving. I think that's important in this game because everything is problem solving. Um, and then Lowell, fabulous pacing as always. This is a game that I want to play with my friends now, which
Oh,
is which is unusual. Like normally I play games on here and I'm like, this is fun, but I don't know that I could really play this with my friend group. And then I'm like, no, this is so fun. I would totally play this with other people. So really, really well run game. I think for me, I don't know that I have a lot in the way of wishes other than I will say I kind of like being the heavy of the group.
hmm.
I kind of liked the whole, okay, I'm conspicuous, everyone else is kind of discreet, at least in this particular
Yeah.
mission. Not to say that has to always be the case. But I liked having the heavy armor and, blowing stuff up with the heavy demo tools. I thought that was fun. So, something like that in the future. I still want to be a frogman. That's
Yeah.
kind of all I got on my end. Yeah.
That
Well, we
is
didn't get to
perfectly
do that,
fair.
did we?
Yeah. No, no, we didn't get a chance, but we will definitely, there's enough water around here. We will definitely give you that chance at some point. All right, I'm going to stop the recording.